Hi guys, it's the views from the stand, and as you know it, we're here to put our minds in a lot of things. The English Premier League title have been decided, the German Bundesliga have been decided. In La Liga, it is too close to call. In France, it is also decided. In Italy, I think that this weekend Napoli dropped the ball. There might not be any room for recovery anymore. But though some people say that there is a chance that they can still do something. Okay, they are within, a chance of doing something. It is not all done and dusted and unsorted, borrowing from the words of my former colleagues, Yinka Adeyinka. But then I've got with me our babyface assassin. Don't judge him by the looks of his face. Don't judge him by the cuteness, the niceness. This guy can create atomic bomb. But what I mean is not atomic bomb in terms of destroying the world, but verbally, he can create footballing or analytical atomic and nuclear weapons. So watch out for his punchlines. Watch out for things that he said. He's the guy who told you guys that finishing 13th and finishing 8th is not different. Not because of the league table, but because of the standard. So, in case that I'm just giving you context for those who want to argue. But then again, we got 1,000 naira as a super tanks for that. So, I guess he should be dropping some more bombs like that. Abibayo Ayodeji, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you? Thank you for the introduction. Like the eulogy was great. Like creating atomic bomb. Wow, 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 wow. I wish we can continue to create more atomic bomb statements for our fans that they can continue to like.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that our fans get to the point where they like what we do so much that they are sending us those super tanks because it really does help to fuel and buy data and do a lot of things. But then, what is most important for us right now, what we need the most, to be able to convince sponsors to put money on us going to the African Women Championship in July and the African Cup of Nations in December is more subscribers. So the more subscribers we've been tasked by four different potential sponsors that get to 50,000 subscribers and will give you money. But for what you are right now, it's hard. I'm sorry, we can't give you our money. So please, if you're out there, if you already subscribed, thank you very much. But tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends and even your enemies to subscribe to our channel so that we'll be able to make it all the way to Morocco. We really want to do a lot. Next month, like I say, we're going to Europe. After that, we should be going to Morocco for the African Women Championship. We've never done that before. We've never covered the African Women Championship. Even when it's hosted in Nigeria, we want to do that now. And then beyond that, we also want to try and cover the Chan. I know that not too many people want to go to Chan because it's been hosted in 3 different countries, even though they are close together, Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. But then we want to try our best to be able to get there and give you some inside information, facts, tidbit, on the spot moment, minute by minute updates about the tournament as it progresses, so that we get as much buzz around it as the main competition. Then we might be going to Germany for the Bayern Youth Cup in October. After that, we would settle down for Christmas party. It's gonna be Christmas party in Morocco. And let me ask you, Ayodeji, what is your first experience of the African Cup of Nations? For me, it was Maroc in 1988. And I'm going to go back to Maroc again. And for me, for the women's tournament, it was 1991. I followed every women's tournament from the beginning. I could say that female football started in my primary school in Warri. In a primary school called Peso Primary School, there used to be, that's a place where people like Florence Omagbemi, Patience Savre, and a host of others, started their football. Then there is Rivers Angels, or Larry's Angels, as they used to call them back in the day before they became Rivers Angels. And if there's one man who will know all of that, it's obviously our ancestor. China Archery, he was in Lagos, but I couldn't see him because at the time I was admitted in the hospital. There was nothing I could do. I wasn't seeing, my eyes were off, and then I was really sick. I was on drip, multiple drip, and I was also on oxygen, but I just couldn't even stress him by telling him that, look, I'm in the hospital because knowing China the way I know him, he might decide, where are you? Let me come and see you. And I don't want that, okay, to overstress him. But good that we have him here. Let me start with you. What's your first experience of the African Football Championship, the African Cup of Nations, and then the women's version? What's your first experience, Abib?
Okay, so since the ancestor is here and the elder is here, I'll pay my due respect and pass the question on to him to start first for him
No,
to
no, let's
open.
hear your own first. Obviously, his own will
Uh,
go back to 1957.
I'm
I know. I know
An
China. China
ancestor,
will.
sir, would you like to start? This is me paying my respects to you. It's been a long time since I've seen you, so
Oh yeah, let's
I
go to
would
the
just like you to
ancestor.
start first.
But I would have loved to really like
But
bring him on. China Achebe is not just anybody. I mean, if you have China Achebe on your corner, it's like if you follow the movie Creed and you have Sylvester Stallone, what's his name in that Creed now? Forgotten, but you have Sylvester Stallone on your side. It means that no matter how much punch you take, there's somebody who will remind you of what makes you thick enough to come back and win. And that's what Anthony Creed got on his side. So for me, I always say I'm privileged to have China on my side. And we spar. My wife will say that the two of us, she does not understand. She'll ask me, you and this guy will be senior. I say, no, my elder. And they talk to her like this. You not get respect, Abi. I say, I don't understand. Are you married to me or you're married to China? China is my elder brother, but he's not that kind of bullying elder brother. But sometimes he does bully me anyway. But he's the only person allowed to do that. China, it's a pleasure to have you. So I swing the question to you. What's your first experience of the AFCON, the African Championship, African Cup of Nations, and then the one for women? What's your first experience?
the first I watched was 1984.
See, una
Um,
the same?
for the for the 1980 games, I was not old enough to watch it, but I know that as a child growing up, when the older ones are playing football, they used to go by some names like Abi Christian Tiku, Emmanuel Okala, Shego Debami. So I knew those names already. But the first AFCON I watched was in 1984. I was in secondary school then, and I followed the games. Um, our 2-2 with Egypt, where Keshi scored a goal, um, especially the final game against Cameroon. And then my youthful thinking then, I blamed Adeboye Onimide for that loss. But looking back, it was a very young team. After I won the AFCON in 1980 and the disgrace of 1982, Nigeria, as usual, we are building a new team. We have lots of young players in the team. Peter Rufai, Patrick Okala, Yisa Shifoluwe, Brighton Mokaro, Sunday Boyebe, Stephen Keshi. You are all young players. The only older players we are Mudalawa. Rashidi Yekini was just starting his football at that time. Henry Wusu was a kid. So it was a young team. And I mean, of course, the Mercurial Chibuzo Hilegu and Paul Okoku, all these were part of the 1983 Flying Eagles team. So the team tried to get to the final, but that was my first time I was watching the AFCON. And I've not missed an AFCON since 1984.
That's so beautiful. The fact that you can still remember all the names of these people and the names that you mentioned, Isha Shefulu, the Minister of Defense, right? That's what they used to call him, I guess.
Yes, that's what he was called, yes.
Stephen Keshi, the big boss. Aloysius Atuigbu, the blockbuster.
The blockbuster,
Uh,
yes.
all of these guys, Mudashiru Lawal, who am I forgetting? Aruna Ilerica, and all of these guys, Rashidi Yakini, who later became Ghost King, Goledo, Ghost Father. There's no name that Rashidi Yakini was not called. But let me switch to Abib. Abib, if you can hear me. I don't know if I'm freezing or if you're getting me. Abib, what's your first experience of the AFCON?
I think early 2004. That was probably the first time I watched the AFCON. Well, I think one of my memorable experience was the Ghana 08, if I'm correct, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
2008,
Yeah,
yeah.
2008.
2000. I think I was older then. I was more mature and I understood the game. But I think one of my first experience has to be 04, 04, 04. Yes, I was watching. I think that was when I first picked up interest. I was watching the game then, and I didn't really understand anything. I was just supporting because everybody was supporting. But as I grew older,
I know that
I think,
feeling.
yeah, I think one of my enjoyable experience has to be Ghana 08. I think we beat Ghana, right, in the group stage. Was it? We tied
No, no,
Taiwan.
no. We actually knocked out by Ghana in
Okay,
2008 in the
which one
quarterfinal.
was the
Ghana
long
knocked us,
range
yes, in the
shot
quarterfinals.
from Taiwan?
You actually beat Ghana away.
Wait, which one was the long range shot from? Which was the long range shot from Tai Tai that we won? It
Against
was against
Ghana.
Ghana. Yes, it was against Ghana.
Wasn't that
It was not.
wasn't that
It was not
2006?
2008. That
Wasn't that
Was
was
that 2008 or
2006?
2006?
that was
I can't.
2006.
Oh,
I think it's
That was
2006. Yeah.
2000.
In
2006. Yeah, I
Tunisia.
think I remember that goal. Yeah, Tunisia was
No,
Tunisia 2000.
Egypt.
That
That
Egypt.
was
was
in
Egypt.
Egypt. Yeah, that was in Egypt,
That
Cairo.
was yeah. Yeah. I think that was one of the that was 2006. Taita was long range shots. I think that was one of the experience that I remembered vividly. Taita was scoring in the second half of the game against Ghana. Yes. So
Because
that was it.
you've got to do his hairstyle, you're looking like if you want to beat Ghana on our home turf, please come on.
In 2008, it was Junior Agogo that scored against Nigeria in the
Yeah.
quarterfinal.
Barrister just came out of the court.
That was my I think my first memorable experience. But the one which I really enjoyed the most was Egypt 2010. We finished and Shuaibu Ahmadu was our coach then, and we finished second in that group. And one of the first games was the game where we played against Egypt. We scored first. I was really excited. We scored first, and Egypt replied with 3 goals. I think they beat us 3-1
Yep.
in that game. And at the end of the tournament, we went ahead to finish third. We won bronze at the end of that tournament, and Egypt won the African Nations Cup. I think that was the first of that was the third time they were winning the AFCON back to back. So it started 06, 08, then 010. And that team was that Nigerian team was very. I would say it was they played some kind of good football, but compared to Egypt in that Nations Cup, oh wow, Egypt were just spectacular.
Let's go. But Abib, let's go to the law office. I know that this man is just, he's handling a lot of brief and he's just coming from the court, so he's in the mood. He's in the mood. He's the only learned colleague that we have here, the only learned fellow that we have here, and he's gone to say my lord to a lot of people. But right now, let him come and establish his own lordship on this matter. Kobe Bafo, what's your first African Cup of Nations experience? And how was it like for you? What made it memorable? What made it something that you cannot forget?
Well, I mean, I've watched a couple of AFCONs, but the memorable one would be the CAN 208 in my home country. Back in the day when, the Black Star was the first to be reckoned with. What made it much more memorable? We were part of the favorites to win the competition, even though we have not won for a while. It's in my country, the vibe, the buzz, everywhere. And in the end, there's something we could call Soloku. So, after every Ghana win, people just hit the streets with music, dancing, and all that. And it was just a joy because the AFCON was home. Other people from other countries come. And, we had a team that would take us far. At least we are short of a semi-final at most. So we're going to enjoy it on our home turf, watching and supporting our country. So it was just a lovely period. CAN 208, I think at that time we had finished building our stadiums, which are not fit for purpose now, Baba around and all those stadiums and things. So yes, it was just a lovely thing to have the AFCON be hosted by Ghana. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but yep.
I think that as small as a country as Ghana is, they are a lovely place. I was in Ghana last year. By this time last year, I think we were heading to Ghana, and we were based in a place called Ajuri Gano. I had a good fun next to Jerry Rollins' house. It was great fun for the all African games, and I would like to go to Ghana again for another footballing fiestas. I've been to Ghana previously before that time, but for another football fiesta, in the sense that Ghana were a better host compared to some other countries that I've been to. The Ghanaians are very lovely, friendly people. And just to add this, I don't think that Ghanaian women will need to save money to go and do BBL like you have in Nigeria. It seems like people have it naturally, like it's just there. I don't know what the secret is, but it seems like you guys just have it naturally. But let's move away from. Let's move away
But the
from.
ones I've been meeting of late, I don't think they are Ghanaians, even though I'm a question.
You
They don't
have
have what
yeah,
that they just
maybe
But
you have
Habib,
a pro.
when you came to Ghana from Modo UN, at least you witnessed some good stuff. I
No,
mean,
I
I have
saw,
respect
I
to
saw,
about this
I
one.
saw
Good.
This
good
So
guy
if
stuff.
came
you
with his
if you
baby
saw in
face.
Ghana,
He's
because the
from
ones he'll be
Nigeria with
meeting,
all
the
the
ones he'll be
ladies on
meeting
him
late.
himself.
The ones he'll be meeting late are the ones in the US. Maybe they are idolatrated. They are not the original Ghana women. Now
I
let's
think
come
I agree.
back. Let's come back to football, the European style. Abib, do you think that Napoli still have a chance? This is Inter Milan, defending champion. They've got a bigger squad, very robust. They're still in the Champions League. That distraction might be there. But do you think that Napoli can fight back? I mean, the only X factor they have is Antonio Conte. Other than that, Lukaku is not firing. The squad is very thin. Do they have a chance?
Yes and no. The X factor here, like you described, is Antonio Conte. Coming in at the beginning of the season, they lost their star striker, Victor Osimhen, and they brought in Lukaku, who they would believe would replicate those numbers. Um, Conte also switched from a back three to a flat back four. To be honest, I'm really impressed by what he has done with the squad, playing a flat back four, which is like going against what we know Conte usually does. And he has been able to like produce some of those results to efficiently high level. And they also lost Kvaratskhelia at the middle of the season. That's one of their talisman. And to be able to still be in the title race by this time of the season, I give Conte all the kudos. It's still close to call. Yes, you might argue that Inter, they have like the experience and they won the league recently, but you cannot rule out the experience of Antonio Conte. But you need the players, especially Lukaku, firing at a high pace. And although some of the goals have been coming from Scott McTominay of late, but you still need some X factor from Napoli. And if they do go on to win the league at the end of the season, trust me, it's a remarkable achievement, especially from Antonio Conte, playing a flat back four, going against his principle. And the reason why he changed this was because of Kvaratskhelia. In order to accommodate Kvaratskhelia at the beginning of the season, trying to convince Kvaratskhelia that this project can work, and also losing Kvaratskhelia in the middle of the season. If they do go on to win the league, it's going to be tremendous. But at the end of the day, it's too close to call at this time.
I want to go to Kobe on this. Kobe, there is a talk. This season is done and dusted for Chelsea. Chelsea is useless for this season. But how many seasons are we going to wait before we see Chelsea win the Premier League title again? Before Roman Abramovich came in, it took them 50 years of waiting. In 2013, I went on radio. I remember immediately when Manchester United won the league, as Alex said he was resigning, and I said it was going to take them 10 years to ever win the Premier League title again. That sounded ridiculous, preposterous, and unreasonable at the time. But they've gone 12 years now not winning it. And it doesn't look like Manchester United. Sorry, Abi, but I've got to say it. It doesn't look like Manchester United hope of winning the Premier League title are in sight. Okay? So let me take you to Chelsea. How long is it going to take with your poultry farm that you have as a football club? How long is it going to take for Chelsea to come together and do what Arne Slot has taken less than 9 months to do with Liverpool?
You see, before I even answer, Slot just had to build on a structure. We are building the structure from the ground up. So how many seasons will it take? Get me a keeper, get me a striker, and we are winning the title next season. That's all I can see. So next season we are challenging or we are winning the title based on these people.
That's not a good response because we all know, you and I know, that a striker and a goalkeeper is not just the missing link in Chelsea. That backline is not as stable. It's not good enough to compete against the Arsenal backline. It's not good enough to compete against, let's not even bring Liverpool into the conversation. It's not good enough to compete against the Wolves backline, the Nottingham Forest backline. As terrible as Man City backline, I will still pick the Man City backline over the Chelsea backline. So if you say give me a goalkeeper and give me a striker, they might as well give you 10 strikers and 10 goalkeepers. Chelsea will still not win. So give me a concrete, a justifiable response to this question. How many years will it take for Chelsea to lift the Premier League title again?
Next season with a goalkeeper and a striker, I bet to differ on your backline. I mean, I think the keeper is the difference because Alisson is a world-class keeper who will come through when the same mistakes that the Chelsea backline will make is being made by the Liverpool backline. But because of Alisson, you wouldn't see it, and it's covered up. And he also gives the defenders confidence because you know that once you even make some mistakes, the keeper is there to cover you. But once you play with pressure and you are too cautious because you know your keeper is rubbish, that also feeds the mistakes. Honestly speaking, like I said, give me a keeper. I thought we had the solution with Petrovic. If we built on it, then this coach decided to be a superhero, trying to save Sanchez. I don't know what he saw. Now Vince Jorgen said that I don't know what's happening. And give me a striker to finish off some of these things. Because, like, on that D-Day, like we've been speaking about, who will get you that one goal? We can't rely on Kopama forever. We have to take the pressure off you. So I stand to it. All those other backlines have exceptional keepers who will have them. So they are at liberty to play freely. And no make mistakes. Raya is going to make a world-class team, even sells for Nottingham Forest. So I still stick with it. Get me a keeper, get me a striker next season. I mean it.
Yeah, you have it. I don't know, Chelsea fans, if you agree, or general football fans, if you agree. Tell us in the comment section. Do you think that Chelsea, all they need to compete for the title next season, to win it, not even compete for it, to win the title next season is a world-class goalkeeper and a world-class striker, and they are champions? Well, time will tell. Let's go to our ancestor. First off, how was your trip to Lagos, and how is the book sales? Are there additional ways to get the book now as it stands, or it's still on Amazon and somebody reach out to you, you would deliver, you would send to them by post or by courier? What's the way to get the book? I'm talking about the Diary of the Vagabond. For those of you who want to order the Diary of the Vagabond, let me tell you for free. First, buy this one. You will thank me later. It's not just some football book where tactics and score lines are mentioned, like when you buy some of this pastor's book where they copy and paste scriptures, but it is stories that would even make a dead man come back to life. It is stories that would make a marriage that is about to divorce get back together. It is stories that will make people who are trying to break away from a country say, no, I love this country. It is stories that can make your blood pressure really come down. And that's not me hyping. That's just the truth. So when you start with this, it is good. You don't want to start. Let's say, for instance, you're watching the Fast and the Furious movies and you start from not season 9 or part 9. You should go from the beginning. You enjoy it. Or you're watching a series. You start from the beginning. And this book, for me, is a series. And I know I can beat my chest and tell you here that I do not think that China would stop with the Diaries of a Vagabond. There's more to come from his tables. But how was the Lagos trip and the book sales?
Yeah, it went well. I went to promote my book, my media tour of Lagos, like I did when I wrote my first book, 1,000 times on the same road. I was able to visit 7 radio stations and 2 TV stations. For me, that was just okay. You talk about how people can get the book. For those people who live in the Americas, in Europe, in Asia, they can get it off Amazon.com. Amazon.com, you search for either 1,000 times on the same road or Diary of a Vagabond, and you can buy it. For those that live in Nigeria, books.china@cheru.com, books, books.china@cheru.com, and you can buy the book. If you live in Lagos, Roving Heights Bookshop. If you live in Port Harcourt, Bookville Bookshop. That means you can hit me up on social media and negotiate to get yours. But Amazon, books.china@cheru.com, and of course, Roving Heights in Lagos.
All right. Having said that, let me say congratulations to you and every other Copite or Liverpoolians, as you said it the other time. Everyone who's a Liverpool fan, congratulations to you guys. The Premier League title been won yesterday after beating City. Liverpool have not beat City at the Etihad since the arrival of Pep Guardiola, and you guys did it yesterday with so much ease. It looked like if Liverpool needed to score a third, fourth, or fifth goal, they would do it, but they were just being respectful. And the sad part of Liverpool winning the title this season is that they strolled to the title without getting past second gear. There's never been a game this season where Liverpool were dying and needed to throw the auxiliary jar, do the Hail Mary. They were such a comfortable position. In the league, they lost only one game to Nottingham Forest. They lost the cup game. They lost the dead rubber game.
after my tour of Lagos, I'll be doing a tour of Bayelsa.
Okay. Sorry, we had a network issue that glitched the system, but I guess we're back now. I'm gonna take it from there. My network is a bit very, very low. I'm trying to switch from one network to the other and see if that works well for us. As the evil of NGCom is trying to destroy.
To get knocked out of the first round. But the owner of the club did not give up. He
So
kept on
China,
pushing.
China,
Kept
we
on
need.
pushing.
Hello, China. We need to go back a bit. There was technical issues with the network, so let's go back to where I was asking you. This Liverpool team, can this feat, this amazing strolling to the title that's going on this season? Because I'm taking it for granted the Premier League is already won. Liverpool's lost only one league title, one game in the league this season. For them to lose the title, they have to lose about 4 to 5 games between now and the end of the season. And then Arsenal have to win every other game. And the Arsenal we know will still lose between 4 to 5 games this season. That's one. Liverpool needs 26 points to be home and dry. But even if it's not like Liverpool needs to kill themselves. And then there's a possibility that might go all the way in the Champions League. They're still one of the strongest team, most informed team in the Champions League. This feat, is it possible to repeat next season? We hear rumor says that the contract extension given to Mo Salah reduces his salary from what is earning currently, and I think that will make the player want to leave. If Mo Salah exit, would he make Liverpool? What happens to Liverpool next season?
Listen, some of us are not thinking of next season, whether Salah leaves or he stays, whether Van Dijk leaves or he stays. We are thinking of this season. Can the team win the league this season?
The
Well, if
league
the
is
team
won.
wins the league this season, then
China, the league is won already.
For the fans, we are ready to take our
Stop,
chances
stop playing
next season.
humble. Stop playing humble. You've won the league title this season. Forget about this
Hold
humility.
on.
You're pretending. I'm not
I
used to
became
you pretending.
I'll just ignore that. I became a Liverpool fan in 1979,
Oh
right?
God.
And that was the season after Kevin Keegan left the club to Hamburg. Now, when Kevin Keegan left the club to Hamburg, there was apprehension in the land. It was like, what can we do without Kevin Keegan? This guy was clearly our best player. He was playing for England. He had been at the World Cup. What can this team do without Kevin Keegan? Then the team signed a youngster from Celtic, yes, called, was it Celtic or Aberdeen? Called Kenny Dalglish. And it was like, at the boots of are not too big for Dalglish to feel. But of course, Dalglish filled this boot very well and became known as King Kenny Dalglish. So, like I said, for now, it's about this season. Then the title will be home and dry. For next season, if Salah stays, if he doesn't stay, we'll take our chances. But let's just clear number 20 first. So when we clear number 20, we can think of next season. Good thing is that Salah is still playing and scoring every game. In spite of his contract struggle, it shows that it's not affecting him. Whatever is in his mind, he's playing and he's scoring in every game. It's good for him. It's good for the club.
Abib, let me jump to you. What you talked about Antonio Conte earlier on was very instructive, and it's one of those things that I've been complaining about. People talk about, oh, this is how the coach wants to play. Everybody has to play his way. Conte is known for a particular style of play. Moved to Napoli, doesn't have those kind of players. Was humble enough to understand that the type of players I have means that I have to pivot in particular to get the result that I need. When would we get to the point where Ruben Amorim will say, look, I can't do this thing with these players. I need to pivot to a different style that suits them a bit. Not necessarily in the way Bobby will put it, play the way the players want to play, but just play a different style. Try a different style that will work for them. Are we ever going to see that with Manchester United?
Yeah, if he does that, he's treating the symptoms and not the disease itself.
So what exactly is the disease?
The disease is the players are not good enough. If you try to, what's the word? They use the word pander. If he tries to pander and tries to revert to play to the qualities of the players, what's the best we can get? I said this with you last week on Monday. Like, what's the best we can get? Okay, we start winning a few games. So should that be the standard for Manchester United? We start winning a few games.
Hold that thought. In that train of thought, I'm going to ask you this. And I'm looking forward to having Darren Lewis, maybe a one-on-one, or maybe I'll get him with us and I'll get you involved. There's something I'm looking at in this regard. It is absolutely clear that you cannot do a total clear out. Man United cannot sell out, say, 10 players and bring in another 10 or 15 like Nottingham Forest did. So whatever happens, you're still going to be stuck with these players, more of them. And then you bring in new players again, they'll be corrupted by this virus that is in the system, like 0D. Okay. What can be done in the interim, treating the symptoms before we get to the root? It's taken Arteta 5 years, but in that 5 years, he's won only an FA Cup and two league community shield. What will it take for Manchester United to find their mojo again? Because if you go the way you're thinking, you guys are still going to be the bottom 10 against battling relegation next season. Is that what Manchester United is used to now?
Yeah, first of all, what can be done? Avoid relegation first. I think they will avoid relegation. That's fine. Secondly, bring in the tools that the manager needs. It does, like you said, Manchester United is too broke to afford like total clearance. Bring in the tools that the manager needs. He needs a wing back. He needs a striker. He needs some creative. Bring in those players. And if you bring in those players, let's see what the manager.
So you can't convert the current players to wing back?
With the way Amorim plays, he plays with 3 at the back. With the wing backs, he calls them wingers, not defenders. So if you are playing defenders in wing back, automatically they will revert back to defensive position, and you're having a back 5 instead of having actual wingers that push high up the pitch. You play Dalot, you play Mazarawi, you still get the same thing. Because these guys are not actual wingers that necessarily have to push up high up the pitch, and they are not good 1v1, they will resort to a back 5, sorry. And it makes it look as if the 3 at the back is a defensive formation. While in actual reality, the 3 at the back, you're supposed to be attacking with 5 players or 6 players max.
So you're supposed to play the system that Antonio Conte played at Chelsea with Victor Moses and the rest to win the title, right?
And Marcos Alonso, yes.
Oh, okay. No problem. Let me wrap up with my brother in Ghana. Hey, who are the players in your current Chelsea team that must not wear the club jersey again next season? They must be sold by fire, by force. And remember, we're returning your Raheem Sterling back to you.
We'll give to Raheem Sterling to Man United because, I mean, looking at that team, he will be the captain and rather be the one selecting the players. But God. For Chelsea, I mean, Sanchez has to go. Jorgensen has to be number 2. He has to go. Christopher Nkunku has to go. I'll be fine.
Just those 3?
Sancho, I have some ego on Sancho because when he came and he was balling, I was in a row against United fans that we scammed them. So I'm not eating humble pie on that one. Sancho will stay. But yes, Sanchez must go. Nkunku must go. I don't understand why Felix went out to one and Nkunku's rather there.
All right. I want to put something. I want to put something here that maybe everybody. One word on the Gasparini, Ademola Lookman, Bruhaha. He scored a brace over the weekend, so it seems like water under the bridge now. But let me just hear your take. This is we have 2 more minutes at the end of the show, so you have 30 seconds on the clock. What's your take, Gasparini?
I support the coach. He's one of the worst penalty takers ever. I remember when he was at Fulham. I think it was a 90th minute penalty. Whether he did it was he went to chip the ball. I think our first squad Parker was handling Fulham. I was like, what's with this guy? That time, and that's what you do. And I think every time I see him, he's just a bad penalty taker. And regardless of his form, shouldn't be taking such a critical penalty when he needed those goals to try and mount a comeback. So I'm with the coach on that. He's a human being. He's making him out.
China Acheru, what's your take? Ademola Lookman, Gasparini.
I don't think the coach should have said that. Those
Really?
words are too harsh. Yes, I don't think the coach should have said that in a press conference.
China, wait. China, in your case, you were a media officer of a football club, and you have heard coaches say all sort of crappy things about footballers, right? What's the big deal? But it doesn't also make it wrong. We're pandering too much to the emotions of social media and players.
You asked my opinion. You asked my opinion.
Because you are old man, you
Yes.
should talk from the older generation. You're not sounding
I'm
like
not.
a
I'm
Gen
not
Z.
old. I said it earlier. I'm not old. I just said earlier.
You're not old.
I'm 34.
Your father lap. Go ahead, no worry. 34 key.
I think the coach shouldn't have done that in public. Shouldn't have done that in public.
Habib, Gasparini, Ademola Lookman.
I'm with China on this. The coach shouldn't have said that.
Gen Z now. Why would you not say that?
No, and the problem is the coach is not being consistent with his statement. We've had two of his best penalty takers miss penalty. And when he came out to the media, I kept saying like, oh, this penalty taker was under pressure. You remember the one where they were playing Arsenal and they had like a penalty and their penalty taker lost it. And the coach came out to say, oh, he was under pressure, blah, 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 blah. And the same logic should also